All right. Well, I
Cool.
mean, I'm down to start.
Yeah, I went ahead and started the recording just so that we could have it rolling. We can pop in whenever. So I figure we could go ahead and intro it with a quick acknowledgement of our podcast name here,
Oh,
which is
yeah. These people are sick.
thank you, Slav. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and
You're
get into
listening
it now.
to.
I might be a little low energy on this one, having run around a lot the past day or so. So I'm gonna try to throw up some topics here. I'm gonna hope that we get cooking pretty quick here, and you can, steam us ahead, Slav.
we can get a broth going here.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So I think let's see. Speaking of broth, I think that's a good segue, or at least I'm gonna make it one into a quick COVID update. Because we love talking about COVID, and the
Yeah.
way that the broth is the segue is the bat soup.
Yeah, I was.
I know that was a loose thing, but
No, that's literally what I was about to say. I actually didn't know you were gonna say it.
nice. All right, cool. So I wanted to make sure we're touching base on that. But the COVID update came out. There's a couple of them that happened over the week or so that we've been off the air. So it's good to touch base on those. As usual, it's just kind of them coming out and finally acknowledging and admitting to stuff that people like us and other dissident questioning individuals have been saying the whole time, or raising flags to the whole time. But essentially, there was a big case that was going on, and it was against the city of New York, essentially, because of their vaccine mandate that came up. And it was Department of Sanitation workers specifically who filed this complaint, saying that they were fired for unjust cause due to not getting vaccinated after the mandate.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's been a lengthy process, obviously, because it's been roughly a year now since the mandate, a little bit more maybe. And so it's been, hung up in the courts. And it's kind of funny because, these people were already fired. They've already been, pretty much forgot about. The
Mm-hmm.
whole narrative has moved past them. But yet they're finally getting their day in court. And sure enough, their day in court comes, and what they're saying, what we've been saying all along, is right. It's completely unjust to take these people's jobs away. The judge decides actually that it was arbitrary and capricious, the mandate. And so he then orders the city of New York to hire these people back, all these Department of Sanitation workers, and also give them back pay, that's pretty sweet.
That's actually pretty big.
Yeah, that'd be huge. Like, it's good to get your job back because, like, that whole thing. Obviously, it's completely fucked to fire someone for not getting this experimental medication.
Yep.
But also, you get a fat check too now. That like you've probably been making do somehow or another over the past year while this has been going on. Because
I wonder if
people.
you could. I wonder if you could get your job back, get all that back pay, and then still sue the state.
Oh, I think I would, dude. Because now there's definitely grounds. There's a precedent in court that there was something wrong done. So I imagine you could take it to a civil suit pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Well, and speaking of that, I mean, do you think that this is going to mean? Do you think this is going to be a good omen for the rest of the country?
That's what I'm hoping for. Because that's how the court system works. That's one thing I do know with my tenuous grasp on our court system is that if there's precedent, typically that kind of snowballs a little bit. People start using that to build their cases, point to as precedent.
Right.
So I'm hoping that it can expand out. I know I saw some articles that there's some other states where it's happening. I think like Massachusetts.
I mean, New York was like one of the last places to throw in the towel with mask mandates and shit, right? So like,
mm-hmm.
so I mean, that seems like a good sign for this to come out of New
Yeah.
York of all places. I think. I don't know. I have a hard time being optimistic about anything COVID related in my own home state of Washington, just because like Jay Inslee, our governor here.
Oh,
Like,
that dude's batshit, bro.
that he's a piece of shit, and like and we were the absolute holdouts of a lot of COVID stuff. And I don't know. This seems like well, whatever. I don't want to be pessimistic or whatever, but
Yeah, I'm already seeing articles that are coming out where it's like some sort of health chief or whatever, people that are deeply entrenched in this whole
Dude,
mechanism
speaking of
of
health
making sure.
chief, about to
Yeah.
light up, brother.
Nice. Chiefed up. But yeah, so I've been seeing articles already that are saying, like, yeah, this isn't going to spread. Don't worry about it. This is an isolated thing. They're not going to be, reinstating other jobs. This is some oddball judge and, that kind of regular shit.
I think it's like it's kind of comically evil how people would like see people getting their jobs back with back pay and
Yeah.
just be like worried about that.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Justice won't be carried out for anyone else.
Yeah. It's not going to spread from here. Yeah,
Dude,
that's crazy.
this honestly is like really is like a these people are sick moment.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is a very, very fitting way to open the episode because COVID, people getting sick with the illness, but also a whole lot of sickos profiting off of the whole thing, propping it up the whole time. And it's nice to see. I know I'm pessimistic on it too. I think I've been pessimistic pretty much the whole time, generally because you watch how it's playing out. And
Yeah, I mean it's hard not to be. It's like
absolutely.
a lot of the time it's like it's not necessarily pessimism. It's just like we're just living through kind of a dark time.
Yeah. It's just a realistic look at it. You're being pragmatic. You're like, yeah, things are kind of fucked. I don't know. But so it's nice to see though these people kind of getting their day in court, like getting a little bit of justice back for these people who lost their jobs. They get their livelihood back. That's fantastic on an individual level. But it's also nice because it's like, I know it's just scraps or whatever, and it's too late, too little too late, but it's still acknowledgement that, like, hey, this was a fuck up. And I don't know that it's like acknowledgement as in, like, hey, we fucked up, but it's somewhere in the level. Someone's pointing out in an official sense so it can be written down in precedent and law books, etc., whatever, as saying, hey, this is wrong. And hopefully that stands going forward so that it can be used as precedent against future cases, and it can spread, like we're saying, hopefully. But also that can be something they can point to when they ever think about writing another one of these fucking mandates, which they will eventually, is saying, hey, well, there is precedent in court to, overturn this.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, like it's yeah, you mentioned like too little too late, and yeah, the damage is done, right? And I'm a big believer that we're never really gonna get like the vindication that we are owed, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
but you gotta manage morale a little bit, and
Yeah.
like you gotta acknowledge that the only kind of W's we're ever gonna be getting are small ones.
Mm-hmm.
And allow yourself to enjoy them then,
Yeah.
and it's not an invitation to just rest on your laurels and get complacent or just I think it's not about being complacent, because I mean look, it's not like that makes it sound like we're like going out to fight the revolution, and it's like it's not happening, right? But don't get delusional about it when little W's come along. Don't get your shit crossed. Don't get confused about the actual stakes.
Oh yeah.
Because
Or even like the state of where things are at now. Like I feel like don't use that as like a water test, a temp test, really, of where we're at, because like the machine is still moved past that, and like I don't think that really is a problem for it at all.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just like never. Keep in mind we're still in like a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
And we will be for the foreseeable future. Not even probably, but yes.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Great for those people. I mean, fucking A, man. I wish I had a cush ass government job. That's the dream right there.
Yeah, bro, for real.
This was just for government employment, right?
Yeah. Well, this was specifically for the Department of Sanitation.
Oh,
So,
okay. It was
I don't know.
just the Department of Sanitation.
I know that's what the case was hearing, and that's who it was involved in specifically. I don't know if the ruling was against the whole mandate for the city,
Right.
but
well, like you're
I
talking
know
about
that,
precedent
yeah,
and all that. I mean,
I think that's kind of what it is. It's like now that there is the precedent, I think the city is kind of following suit without having to open up other cases,
mhm. Or if nothing else, a symbolic W. Not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, the thing that's frustrating though, and I think is important to still be cautious about, is that yeah, people are now going to be turning around. People who've been pushing the mandate, who were silent at the very best about mandates, are going to be saying, this was such a misstep of justice to ever have these in the first place, and I'm glad that we're coming to light on this. People are going to come back and act like they always knew that this was wrong, and that they, just everyone just kind of happened to get caught up in a crazy thing, and we were just acting fast because there was danger in the
We
air.
were moving at the speed of science.
Yeah, and then we'll just move past it. No one's gonna get like, yeah, like you're saying, there's no vindication, there's no actual blame really. It's just like, or no acceptance of any type of responsibility.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And I mean, like, I mean, people might even just use this to point to and be like, and have this just embolden the horrible COVIDian effort in general, and just be like, well, look at the pushback we're facing,
Oh
and
yeah,
be emboldened the absolute wrong way they're because they're amazing at that, because their entire fucking worldview revolves around that that perceived overwhelming resistance, which like just doesn't really exist.
I feel
uh,
like that's both sides always. I mean, I know it's absolutely right now. This the establishment side, and because it's like the one that's in power, it's the one that's predominantly using this, for their narrative. But like, I don't know. I was talking with a friend the other day, and he was coming up to me talking about like the Nancy Pelosi thing, right?
mhm.
Which we can go ahead and jump into.
Is it
Um,
is it hammer time?
it's hammer time, bro.
It's hammer time, baby. I literally had no idea about this until you told me.
No, really, I broke the news to you.
Yeah, you broke, dude, hot off the presses. You actually broke the news to the media. Isn't that
Oh,
true?
yeah, I was there on the scene. I
Yeah,
was there, like
you were holding
providing
hammer
moral
in hand.
support.
You were on the scene.
Yeah, I was cheering him on. I was like, "Yeah, bro, get it." Um, but yeah, so what happened was Nancy Pelosi, the beloved Speaker of the House, um, she was away on vacation or something, doing whatever the fuck she does,
Yeah,
being some sort of menace elsewhere.
yeah,
And some man broke into their house allegedly with a hammer,
yeah.
and allegedly was looking for Nancy Pelosi and proceeded to attack her husband,
He's
who he
he's
found
he's
there
sitting in
instead.
his car outside of their house. He finishes the latest episode of These People Are Sick, and then he opens the door.
He's like, these people really are sick. So he gets out. Yeah, he's out there. He's in the house.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that, okay, so I was looking into it a little bit because I was in the car on the road when I saw this, like, popped up on my phone. And I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. So I'm reading it a little bit. And, like, apparently the security or the police, I guess it's the police, they get there just in time to, like, look through the door and see the attacker like holding a hammer mid swing at Nancy Pelosi's husband, and him apparently catching the hammer and
Whoa,
stopping it, and it being like
whoa.
this like moment of like, like superhero movies or whatever, where there's like two great forces and there's like maybe red and blue lasers going
Yeah, like
into each
Superman
other.
punches the bad guy, and the bad guy catches the fist.
Yeah, so it's basically that moment occurs for a second, and then he's an old man,
Okay,
so
so he had like just shot up on some adrenochrome,
yeah,
is what you're saying.
yeah,
He was
he runs
he's
to the back room, calls 911, shoots up adrenochrome as quick as he can.
yeah.
Fuck. But yeah, he so eventually that adrenochrome wears off. It doesn't last forever. That's why they need such a high supply of these babies and these poor souls.
These little Latinx children that were
These little
shipped in.
tykes. Yeah.
Little tykes, dude. He felt the strength of the little tykes.
But that wore out eventually, as it always does, and he kind of, saw the consequences of that as he dropped the hammer. The man continued to hold it and just smacked him across the head.
Oh, he
Beats him.
got him.
Oh, he got him. He beats him
Oh wait,
with the
smacked him
hammer.
with the hammer.
with the hammer. Yeah, he did it with the hammer. So
I feel I don't want to like overdo it with because I feel like this actually would be fed bait, but like there is something really funny to me about this.
no, it's. I mean, the way it's that I saw it described, dude, like the play-by-play of like the police show, and then he's catching the hammer, and then there's like this, dude. It's literally like out of a movie. It's fucking hilarious. But anyways,
It's kind of funny. Also just because like like this is regardless of just like loving or hating this guy like in getting hit with a hammer. Like it's just one of these things of hitting someone with a hammer is like one of the most psychotic ways to like physically assault someone.
oh
Like
my god, dude,
a
yes.
hammer. What, dude?
Yeah, you're bludgeoning somebody with that.
Have you ever seen, I think there's like a video of like fucking Norman Mailer fucking on like a movie set getting hit in the head by fucking Rip Torn with a hammer. Like the guy from fucking the old guy from Men in Black. And he's just
God.
like he just hits him with a it's fucking great, dude.
Real hammer?
Yeah, I think it was
Holy
one of
shit.
these things of like he told everybody on the set like I want you to try to kill me, you know. And then Rip Torn just like actually while he's talking to someone on the cast like approaches with a ball peen hammer and just like whacks him upside the head with it.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That reminds me of I feel like there was some video that came out a while ago, kind of when like the Pain Olympics and the general horrible videos you'd see online about like violence and stuff would come out. I think there was like these kids in Ukraine, or I think it's Ukraine actually. You know, notable home of wonderful people, comes out and just bashes someone to death with a hammer. That was a video that was going around along with the cartel headings and stuff. So yeah, dude, you gotta be a different level of like enraged or just like off kiltered or passionate.
I mean, getting hit with a
to
hammer
use
is like one of the most fucked up ways I can think of just like casually being murdered by somebody. Like I say like casually as in like people listening to this could be like, oh well, like you could fucking get skinned alive. That would be worse, right? But like no one's gonna skin you alive. Like if you get murdered randomly, if a person murders you, like the overwhelming possibility is like you're gonna be like shot or stabbed or something, you know, like some quick thing that is a normal way to kill a person. No
Jeffrey Dahmer, no Ted Bundy going.
That shit's like not even real. You know what I mean? Like I mean like it is, but like you know what I'm saying? Like it's so rare.
Yeah.
Getting hit with a hammer, as far as realistic ways to die, is just so fucking horrible, dude. Oh my god.
I mean, because it's gonna take multiple blows if you get beat to death,
and it's just gonna like cave in your. I don't even want to think about it, dude. This is our Halloween. This is our Halloween.
Yeah, it's spooky.
This is creepy. This is macabre.
Yeah, it's the gore.
This is the gore ep, dude.
Yeah, Al Gore ep.
This is our Al Gore ep, dude. Dude, next week Al Gore gets hit by a fucking hammer.
Holy shit, dude. Man Bear Pig got him finally.
Man Bear Pig fucking whacked him with a hammer. Dude, Man Bear Pig wouldn't even be cold enough to fucking hit somebody to death with a hammer.
True. Dude, anyways, this hammer guy.
It ain't
that's
right.
A level. No, it ain't right. I'll be the first one to say, attacking people with hammers ain't right.
No,
you
hell
know what I mean?
no.
Not a sign of a healthy individual. And so, also,
hey, if you're going around hitting people with hammers, listen. How about you take a step back, buddy? Yeah. How about you calm down, okay? Just chill out. What's your problem? You know,
maybe put yourself in the other person's shoes.
Maybe try that. Have you ever tried wondering how they feel having a hammer hit their skull at a high velocity and just shaking their brain on the inside walls of their skull until there's probably like a hemorrhage. They just die. Yeah,
we'd be good crisis trainers. Just telling people like, hey, when you're getting worked up, just think about the other people.
Dude, we could set up like a phone number for the podcast that people can call as like an emergency line.
No, we get implicated in some serious shit probably.
Yeah, that's like
I
a
don't.
really that's like that's probably one of the worst ideas I could come up with.
To be like, I'm sitting here right now outside of Nancy Pelosi's second house.
Oh no, they're gonna be like, I'm sitting right outside of Al Gore's house.
Oh fuck!
I got the man bear pig costume on.
It's Halloween,
and the hammer is, and it's Halloween. Oh no!
Fuck.
Yeah,
But
that person that we just thought of, that hypothetical person, that person's sick.
A lot of sickos, folks. A lot of sickos out there.
A lot of sickos out here these days. You better believe it.
We're keeping an eye on them here at These People Are Sick podcast.
Mm-hmm. We're watchdogs.
Speaking of which, one of those people that's sick though, let's flip the script real quick, is Nancy Pelosi, as well as her husband, who is right now kind of in shambles, I guess.
Well, okay, so he's alive though, right?
He's alive. Apparently, he's recovering well.
Is he like retarded now?
I don't know. I mean, probably. You get hit with a hammer, dude, especially when you're old. I mean,
it's gonna do a little bit.
Yeah, aneurysms are happening at least.
A little something.
But he's probably not the smartest chap either. They're both old as fuck, so there's going to be some sort of loss of IQ as you get into that age. And then also, he's married to Nancy Pelosi.
Dude, he lost a couple points at least.
Yeah, and then this is knocking a few more out of there. They're just falling out of his ear as he's getting hit on the other side with a hammer.
He's hemorrhaging IQ points.
Fuck. But he's recovering apparently all right, pretty well. And I don't know. Here's the thing. Don't go around hitting people with hammers. Political violence in that nature is like, obviously, it's not a good thing. It's scary. It's definitely scary to like hear about and be a part of, because you're like, I don't know, violence in any type of thing. It's never a pretty thing. It's not something people want to be around. It's not comfortable for human beings.
Yeah, I mean, hitting someone with a hammer is like an intrinsically evil thing to do.
Yes.
Having said that, I mean, I don't give a fuck about this person at all.
That's what I was saying.
Like I heard this story. It's like, this is fun. No, okay, I'm sorry. You were laying the cushion groundwork.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just gonna say basically, like, don't go out and do that, but there are people out there who are going to, not follow my advice and are going to hit people with hammers because they're just crazy anyways. And there's also people out there who, are possibly like good targets for a hammer hitting. Not good targets, but like if you hear about them, you'd be like, oh, I mean, at least it wasn't some other person.
Yeah, at least it wasn't like, some person that is good.
Yeah. At least they didn't get Matthew McConaughey.
yeah, exactly. That's the first person that comes to mind.
Fuck. When you think a good person, you're like, oh, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey, of course. Dude, that guy from Dazed and Confused, man.
Oh, man. What a great guy.
Great fella. Great
Predator.
I hope he doesn't get hit by a hammer.
No. Good God. But, these people, that's kind of what, like you were saying, and what I think what I was trying to build up to is, there are some folks out here who are living lifestyles where getting hit by a hammer is, not necessarily justifiable, but when you hear about it, you're like, I could see it coming. I could see why someone would like be frustrated with that individual to that level.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that it's like recommendable or it's good at all, but it does mean that when you hear it, you're like,
okay, listen. What I'm saying is, listener at home, hypothetical. You got a hammer in your hand, okay? And right in front of you is, in his cradle, little baby Hitler.
Ooh.
Okay? Do you hammer that nail? That's all I'm saying. Now, am I comparing infant Hitler to Nancy Pelosi's husband? I would never do that. I would never
make that comparison.
No, yeah. I would never. That shows, that level of ad hominem is just, it's, you know what I mean?
You could say it's violence, that kind of person.
Honestly, it's violent. I mean, honestly, that's really the issue these days, is just the fact that people engage in such vicious ad hominem like saying that there's any connection, any comparison to be made between family members of patently evil politicians and Hitler as a child. Because obviously her husband is significantly more evil as an adult man who's done terrible things than Hitler as an infant is why I'm saying that.
Yeah, he's got, I mean, we all carry the original sin, so that, that baby was fucked to begin with, but let's see.
I love the idea of like a priest baptizing the kid and be like, well, we all have original sin, so this kid's fucked to begin with.
Oh man. But yeah, these people, Nancy Pelosi and her husband, let's not forget that Nancy Pelosi's been in the politics for,
they've been, listen, let me put it this way. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off, but they've been hammering on the American people for decades now, okay?
Holy shit.
So, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Every now and again, you fuck with the bull, you get the horns,
You fuck with the carpenter, you get the hammer. Hitting your head at a high speed, causing fractures, probably.
I mean, I'd imagine, dude.
Yeah.
If you're hitting someone in the head with a hammer and you're not fracturing something, you're not doing something right.
Then you need a little hit of adrenochrome, bud. Because you're fucking swinging hits like Sleepy Joe at this point. It's weak.
But yeah, I mean, okay, so I know we kind of abruptly segued into this topic, and we were talking about COVID in the first place and how, there's a lot of reactive bullshit just on both sides, involving COVID specifically, like you were saying. People are looking at people getting their jobs and their livelihood back and are getting upset about it, just because they're completely entrenched in one side of ideological nonsense. They've fully bought into this entire package of bullshit, and they're letting it permeate through their being and actually drive their decisions and actions beyond any type of regular reason. And there's just a parallel because obviously that's just the case in every front. It's not just with COVID. It's also the case with people talking about, extremism or any type of political issues at all, or any type of political competition now. So you hear this thing that happens with Nancy Pelosi, right? And it's like political violence. And obviously the news that's coming out is that the guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi is apparently
Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Oh, Nancy Pelosi's husband. Yeah, my bad.
yeah. No such luck yet. Not that, and no such luck. And you know what kind of luck that would be? It would be bad luck, obviously. Yes. Mm-hmm. So don't
keep your fingers crossed that they stay nice and safe and healthy.
This is just a really funny game to play. Just dancing around it. We're not saying it. Yeah. No. So Nancy Pelosi's husband. Sorry.
Oh yeah. So sorry. What I'm saying though is now the narrative that's being created around this whole issue, because it's coming to light that apparently this guy that attacked the husband, he is someone who is a loner, who is quote attracted to destructive thought patterns or something like that.
Kind of a sick guy. A lot of problems.
A lot of problems. This guy. A lot of mental problems.
Like kind of a sick guy.
They should have kept a better eye on him, let's be honest. But the thing is, now people are using this, right, to create a narrative that's like, oh, well, this is just where we're at with politics in America. The other side is so fucking crazy that they're going to go and attack people with hammers, and they could be attacking you and your loved ones and everyone at any minute.
Dude, if I had a nickel for every time my life in the last 3 years was affected by right-wing hammer-wielding people, I would have enough to buy my fucking groceries with this insane inflation going on right now, dude.
Holy fuck. I was actually that's one topic too to talk about later. It's just like inflation is still
in this economy. I don't know if we'll be able to talk about it later, man. I mean, the best we can do is 20 minutes.
Oh man, time is money, bro, and we don't have much of either right now.
Yeah, I ain't got shit, dude. Dude, time is money, and I'm fucking broke.
Yeah. But I mean, this guy is too, apparently, because he's going to be facing some rough stuff. Our attacker here in the narrative that's been created about him is that.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta go put something in the fridge. I just remembered. Hold on.
Oh, nice.
Give me 1 sec. All right, he's back.
Nice.
Yeah. No. Anyway, so we were talking about.
Oh, we're talking about the narrative created around the Nancy Pelosi husband attack.
Yeah. God, it's just so sad that we don't have a respectable political process anymore.
Yeah. And so this is kind of what I was getting at when I transitioned this into this topic in the first place, is that I have a friend, he came by, and it's like right after this happened. And he's come by, we're just going to hang out, smoke a little weed, just like watch some football, kick it.
Yeah,
just,
I believe that.
Casual stuff. That's nothing like, we're not going to have any debates, there's nothing planned in this. He comes over and he's like, hey man, you hear about Nancy Pelosi's husband getting hit with a hammer? And I was like, yeah, dude. Shit's kind of crazy, man. And he's like, yeah, it's just like so crazy how like these extremists have gotten, people are just going up and attacking everyone, and essentially gets this whole built up thing, all this crazy stuff about how, we're getting to a point where, there's just kind of a line in the sand, and these people are just crossing it every day, and using this very divisive rhetoric where he's saying like, the other side, or the, these people and these kind of things. And he obviously has taken full on to this idea that there's like these guerrilla extremists hiding in our midst at any moment that are gonna just come out of the woodwork with a fucking MAGA hat on, wielding 2 hammers, beating down your door saying, I got a hammer for you, and if you don't come, I got another hammer for your head. Kind of shit. Like, he's got this whole crazy thing built up where he's like, these people are pushing it to the point of violence and creating such division with all this action. And I'm like, dude, do you not understand, in this narrative that you're spitting out right now, you're doing the exact same thing by saying that, like, there's this other side and they're all doing this. And if you don't think that this action is completely crazy and unfounded, and if you don't think that these people are the biggest threat to our democracy and all this and that and the other and the third, then you're on one of these people too. And when you're creating this narrative, you're just like making both sides so entrenched every moment. And it's like, I feel like people on both sides, but specifically right now, people on the left, the more establishment, this kind of thing that are buying the MSNBC, CNN line, these people are so bought in on everything that they're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of what they're afraid of. Like, they're like, oh, there's such rising division in this country, and it could lead to civil war in the worst case scenario, but so if you're with them, then get fucked, you gotta be with us. And so in the same action as they're being afraid of this division and all this stuff, they're creating it in more and more and more. And I don't know if there's any way to ever broach something like that. It's like, I look around and I see, I'm not doing the both sidism when I'm saying this, but I see like one side doing that so much, and I look over the other side, I just see the same reactive type of stuff going on. It's not as strong because they're not being amplified as much, not the ones in power, and there's just the same kind of, we're dug into this side, we're dug into this point, and if you're on that other side, you're complicit with evil shit. They'll call it fascism no matter what side it is. And it's just fucking frustrating, dude. And it seems like something that I don't know we'll ever really be able to like get over as a collective unit.
Yeah, I mean, I think like one side kind of like dominates the other, like wins and just wipes the board. I think I don't understand how that like dialectically how this knot gets untangled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and that's the problem with it, is that it is just like, it's an advancement that means that like it's okay. So first of all, it's completely like delusional.
Yeah.
And so that's a good bedrock problem with it, is just to be like, yeah, I mean, like, it's like complete fucking horse shit. That's a good place to start. But really it's taking this completely imaginary situation and making it real, and that situation like calls for violent force.
Yes,
The whole thing. And to be totally honest with you, I will totally both sides it on this example I'm going to give. This like thing that normies do where they call either Proud Boys or Antifa terrorists
yeah.
is like so incredibly bad.
Yeah.
You know, uh
I mean, the
people.
popularization of that term has been so destructive in general.
Yeah, and I mean it's just like always good. It's not like a right versus left, like no, Stalin was worse, no, Hitler was worse. Not it's not like this fun metaphysics thing. It's like you're calling somebody a term that like you know legally makes it possible to just indefinitely detain and torture them.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and like you shouldn't do that for reasons that are really obvious. And to be totally honest with you, even if all of these delusional premises that people buy into were actually true, it still wouldn't justify that being done to them.
Yeah, no. Of course
So
not. And
yeah.
it definitely wouldn't justify, the security measures and the crazy fucking just draconic bullshit that's going to be amped up in order to allegedly combat the spread of this type of extremism or terrorism, as they label it, whatever it is. There's going to be so much for just regular people that are coming under, more and more supervision, surveillance, more and more scrutiny of their daily actions, whether it be bank accounts being more looked into, whether it be just like your data being more and more mined and looked through and combed, it just etc. And or you're just losing general rights as far as free speech goes. All the things that they're going to lump into this, it's not it's not worth it for the American people to lose those types of things. And also, I don't even think, as far as like you're saying, locking people up in fucking Guantanamo Bay or whatever forever and not giving them fair trial and this and that the other. I mean, half these people are just people who happen to be on a piece of grass when people broke into a building. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. It's crazy shit. I don't like the way that they can classify people as terrorism so easily, and I think it's going to be more and more and more like that. And they're using attacks and narratives like this one to strengthen that call for increased security measures, increased surveillance, etc.,
Yeah.
and more like stripping of political rights from certain individuals. Um, or like freedom of speech from certain individuals or different political parties or factions being able to say certain things, that type of thing. It's not good. It's definitely cause for concern. And it definitely raises red flags with me because it's like, was this attack even fucking real, dude? You know what I mean? I don't know this guy. I didn't see this happen. I'm sure it probably happened some level. Like, I'm sure physically there was a man who was present in this home with Nancy Pelosi's husband, and then this situation happened. But how did it come to be? You know what I mean? What was the intention behind it? Was it something that was staged? Is it something that is publicized specifically for this? Is it a Jesse Smollett kind of situation? Is something that I would think immediately, just because that's like my
False
conspiracy
flag,
brain.
you might say.
Yeah, false flag kind of thing. And like, I don't know. I don't have any evidence about any of this, so I'm not gonna like make a case for it either way.
No, but
I'm
there's
saying
incentives for it.
exactly, exactly, and the incentives are clear, and the incentives are for a very troubling,
Outcome,
end goal, in outcome. Yeah,
which
and
is which is it's I mean it like violence against political opponents.
yes. And it's not good. And then also, not necessarily violence in the physical aspect, but like the stripping of rights from people under the guise of protection from violence. That's going to
Yeah,
come when
expanding state authority in that way. And
yeah, exactly. And so, I don't know. That's really troublesome. This whole thing, I read this, I don't really feel much concern for Nancy Pelosi's husband, but I feel concerned for
fuck him.
what's this going to mean for the American people as far as like, how are they going to come down? And I hear this narrative that's being built, and it's already very troublesome because it's saying, and it's obviously going to happen. Oh, well, it's this other side of people, and these other people with their dangerous rhetoric that we need to be able to cut out, and all of this shit. And it just steepens the divide more and more, gives the machine and the establishment more power and more justification to take extreme measures against just regular citizens, regular working class
I
people.
mean, honestly, you know what this kind of reminds me of is whenever I hear a lot of this kind of stuff of just like how absolutely intolerable the right is and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and this isn't the ultimate point of it, but I think about just like in 2024 them just like not allowing Trump to run,
Yeah,
basically. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's all just to build up, the ability to just completely deny things. And like I think a ton of liberals would hear me say that and just be like, yeah, I mean,
Of course.
absolutely fucking right. Like
They would love that because they're sold on him being like a traitor, like literally being like an election denier and undermining faith in our American democracy. And so, under their eyes, that's someone who is, seditious into the American people.
which is just so funny because it's
It's
like,
crazy.
well, it's funny because it's like, yeah, fuck American democracy. But
Yeah, yeah.
I mean that's just me.
Well, no, it's the machine. The whole entire fucking American political economy has undermined American democracy. And then a couple people have come around and just been like, hey, look at this. That's what it is. It's not like one person came up and was like, said all this dangerous stuff that made everyone's brains just completely flip and rewire. No, everyone is feeling this undermining of, I don't actually trust that these elections are actually for us. This has never been for me in the first place. Who the fuck is Joe Biden? Who the hell would vote for him? Why
Right.
is there all this sketchy stuff happening
More
on
votes
election
than
night?
any candidate in
Yeah,
U.S. history.
when obviously no one I know is excited to vote for this fucking man. It's like, and that's what people are bringing up. That is what's
I
undermining the
genuinely
election.
don't know anyone that likes Joe Biden. I know people
No.
I know people that tolerate him. Right
Yeah.
now, yeah. I mean, it's.
But yeah, I mean, that's what they want to do. They want to create this image of like another side that doesn't play by the rules, right? They undermine elections. They aren't
Can you
decent.
even imagine such a thing?
Yeah, exactly. We over here, we are very neat and orderly, and we're empathetic, and we play by a very nice set of rules, and there's never danger and violence. It's just this very, very sick game that they play.
Right.
But they're going to be using this essentially to amp up that us versus them mentality. And it's what my friend, he's like completely sold on it. It's just really sad to see. He's like, oh yeah, dude, it's like eventually that's just how it's gonna be. Like, there's gonna be so much political violence. It's gonna come down to factions. Like, we're not far from seeing like real fascism, dude. Like, people are gonna come over and be like, "Are you with us or them?" And I'm like, dude, I've never in my life, met one person who exemplifies this idea of these people you have in your head, like these hypothetical individuals who are gonna come knock on strangers' doors and be like, "Hey, we got hammers. We're going to get the local politician. If you're with us or not, you know, if you're not, it's not good for you." That I've never met that person. And like, if I did meet that person, everyone around them knows that person's generally unwell. As far as like being at that level of action in our current predicament,
I mean, it's just
um,
an incoherent. That
it's
doesn't.
nothing. We don't live in fucking, I don't know, like,
How do you even enforce that in the United States? How do you even enforce that? Like, I just the fucking COVID regime. Well,
I
whatever. I
mean,
mean, it's I'm gonna
all of this just got people so twisted up, and that's just my point. It's like, it's so frustrating, and like, it's got it so bad to where people can see this happen and be like, oh man, we really got to make sure we give up more of our rights and we get even more divided over this, instead of being like, man, people are really upset right now, and I wonder why that is. Maybe it's because things are really fucked up. Maybe we kind of get together and try to figure out those problems and solve it, fix our culture a little bit in the process. People just want to get further and further on their own shit. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it's sad.
Can we get people like Kanye to just kind of spice it up a little?
Oh man.
Come along and give us a little bit of entertainment.
Okay, I know that we like talked about it last time, but how fucking funny is it that like Kanye, the second Kanye like says something bad about the Jews, all of like international business and finance cut ties with him very publicly. Like, isn't that just really funny?
Specifically bankers.
Specifically, tons of bankers, tons of people in the fashion industry, which makes sense because he's like a fashion designer. Here, give me 1 sec. I need to step away again. Sorry, hold on. All right, we're back. We're back.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So Kanye West.
Bless him.
There's a couple of updates that have happened with that. I guess we could just kind of quickly pepper in because they're kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about P. Diddy.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Kanye very much because ultimately, like, I think this stuff is just like kind of annoying and dumb. But
definitely,
you know, it's something to talk about.
We talked about P. Diddy last time for just a split second because he was kind of the genesis of Kanye's like canceling with his posting of the
I just really fast. I know that the full thing's Puff Daddy, but just like hearing it out loud right now, like I can't believe that someone would choose to go by P. Diddy. That's such a bad. It's just so bad. Anyways.
P. Diddy's even worse than Puff Daddy, and they're both bad.
Puff Daddy's bad. P. Diddy sounds pedophilic.
Yeah. For real, P. Diddler.
Yeah, P. Diddler.
But I just saw on like some sort of thing that came up on fucking, I don't know, TMZ or some stupid shit. P. Diddy is now a billionaire, allegedly, as of like the past 2 days.
They chose him.
It's funny. Yeah,
they chose him.
Fuck, dude. They're like, all right, Kanye's out. You're in. You're our chosen voice. You stood up for us.
Dude, P. Diddy's the real Jew.
Yo.
I'm sorry. That went so much harder than I intended.
Dude, I was watching a quick like 45-second video that one of my friends posted on Facebook that was like, all right, listen to Kanye and just hear him out in this interview. And he's like going on and he's like, it's like the clip of him talking about like, I am the real Jew, you know, my people's, and man, it is so fucking funny. But anyways,
I love that he's mainstreaming Hotepology.
Yes, I hope that people, because there's people that are like, he ain't wrong. I've been seeing that take a good bit, so I think that, you know, Hotepology made kind of a nice little day in the light again, which I would like to see that. He was in that interview comparing himself to Emmett Till, which is classic. And it made me think of the R. Kelly interview where he's like, I'm fucking dying out here.
I'm fighting for my fucking life out here.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, that's just the Kanye update. That we don't have to linger on it much longer. I wanted to tell you about P. Diddy because that was a little bit of
this is a little bit more of a P. Dids update. Yeah, which I appreciate, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking retarded ass name. I can't believe someone would fucking go by that. Like a grown man.
Oh yeah, this isn't a child.
What's wrong with you?
Maybe if Bow Wow did it, I'd get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but, Lil Bow Wow certainly.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot he dropped the Lil when he got not so Lil. But I guess we could.
Do you remember when Lil Bow Wow was in like a bunch of movies?
Dude, he was in Like Mike, bro.
He was in Like Mike. That's where he gets the shoes, right?
Yes, he finds some shoes like from like a, I don't know, a thrift store or something like that, and they like make him like Michael Jordan level basketball player.
Is Michael Jordan in the film at all?
I think he may be in it just really quickly because he comes back. He's like,
how fucking embarrassing must it be if you make that movie and Michael Jordan like can't even be bothered to be in the fucking movie?
Yeah,
he's too busy playing Major League Baseball.
Yeah, he's like, I'll go play in minor leagues real quick in Birmingham Barons, but which a shout out to the hometown. You know, that's one of our greatest accomplishments and achievements is having Michael Jordan on our minor league baseball team.
Dude, was he only minor?
Yeah, he played for like a White Sox satellite team, the Birmingham Barons. He wasn't particularly good. I mean, he was good enough to play professional baseball, which is really good, but he wasn't as good as like, a good MLB player.
He's like bad for a baseball player.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a fucking basketball player, pretty fucking amazing.
I mean, yeah, the one of the most dominant basketball players to ever live. So you can only do. I feel like it's the old thing about jack of all trades, master of none. So
except he was a master of baseball,
master of one, and
or
so
basketball.
Really, yeah. So you can't really master baseball too if you give all your time to
the classic phrase "master of one." Pretty good at some other things also.
Yeah, pretty good at other shit too, but not quite a master.
Yeah, not quite. But honestly, put your mind to it. That's the whole. That's the whole.
You can make it. You could succeed. You put your mind to it. You become a minor league baseball player, which
absolutely.
Hey, it's better than mediocre.
Dude, well, his real accomplishment is getting away with having a Hitler mustache publicly.
Holy fuck, dude! That's some shit that I feel like only black people can do. Like,
there's a lot that falls in that category.
Yeah. I feel like there's a bunch of things that only certain races can do, and that's a funny thing. I do like that. When you notice that amongst just different groups, you're like, man, y'all do something that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I can process dairy really, really well. So that's pretty
that's
cool.
Just not for y'all.
I can't get caught on CCTV beating up old Asian women and not have anything happen to me. But
you can tolerate mayonnaise on my sandwich.
All right. I can tolerate mayonnaise. I can cook with mayonnaise and not be fucking annoying about it. Yeah.
But you can apparently also. Well, I mean, I guess not, but you could go out and say some Hotep things and not get too caught up. Like Kanye, he's getting roasted, but Nick Cannon, he's gonna be in the Muppet special. I saw.
Is he really?
Yeah.
He's gonna fuck Miss Piggy and have like 12 Muppet children with her.
That'd be funny as fuck, dude. They all come out like wearing the little eye of horror.
Yeah, exactly. They all come out just like explaining how homosexuality is deviant and bad.
Fuck, the kente cloth like swaddling.
You gotta wrap up them little kings. Dude, my buddy actually came to me recently and was like getting into Hotep adjacent stuff a little bit.
Oh,
looking into it. And I think I probably overdid my first response because obviously like I get really, really excited.
Yeah.
And I instantly send the full length Big Head Scientists video. I don't know that anyone actually watched it, but classic, dude.
Oh my god, that is an absolute gem.
Yeah, it really is. Absolute. Yeah.
I mean, it's on the walls of a mass shooter. It might as well be on the walls of the Louvre.
Wait, was that actually on? No, that wasn't it?
Yeah, it was train guy.
It was the train guy in New York, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wonder why I didn't remember that.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing that I can't do. I can't do a mass shooting and then have people completely forget about me like a week later. That's a pretty good superpower.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's not. We can't do that. It's not for us. It's not our journey.
It's not my path. I mean, it's just not my path. Is all.
Man, I hope we can get a little bit more lively action as far as like Nick Cannon kind of talk, Kanye West talk. Really kind of let it loose that we've got.
Do you think that maybe they'll do like a little collab?
Oh my god, dude! What if they did? They got like a morning show, talk show together or something.
Yeah. Kanye and Nick Cannon just on AM radio, just talking shit about Jews. Just fucking like Rush Limbaugh's true successors is just ex-Nickelodeon child actor Nick Cannon and Kanye West.
Dude, he could be on like a Fox News satellite too. I'd like to see that. That'd be funny. He walks like fully into the Rush Limbaugh lane. I think he's kind of gearing up for that, honestly, though, Kanye. Because like, I mean, I don't know if he's gearing up for anything though. Just to be honest, because I think he's probably just kind of really losing it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's like severely manic depressive.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are pretty sick out there. They're
Let me.
twisted up in their head.
There's some sick people out there, not least of which is Kanye. Well, dude, that's one of the annoying things about the mechanics of discourse and the culture, is that people go like, you know, it becomes this canned line to like respond to everything Kanye says by being like, oh, like he's just unwell and like it's really sad, right? And like that's shitty and annoying to say, but it's not wrong. It's just that, dude, like that response, insofar as like the role that it plays in the discourse around it, is like bad and gay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, nothing to look into here. He's obviously off his medicine.
Yeah, but like it still is, you know, it's still worth acknowledging that, like, yeah, he's like a fucking crazy. He is like a crazy person, and
he's a maniac.
And like in my mind, there is something kind of, you know, sad about it. Like it's
dude. I mean, when I was watching that interview, he's just like spouting out like. He's talking about everything all at once. You know what I mean? Like when people that are really just kind of out of it are talking.
It's like a manic episode.
Yeah, literally just a manic episode is occurring on TV. And that's never comfortable to watch.
Yeah, it's like a thing. It's certainly a thing that I've like interacted with and other people I know.
Yeah.
And so then I was just talking to my buddy about this recently, and it is just kind of like you know, he was talking about, you know, you like watch this interview and you can just kind of like, oh, yep, no, I know what that is.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know. And honestly, one of the things that makes me think also, though, is just like there is kind of like a lack of empathy that people have towards it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's almost like an affected ignorance about it, because I feel like tons of people have kind of engaged with that kind of person and probably have some level of like recognition when they see it. But then to just be like, he's a fucking horrible. Well, whatever. I mean, the shit he said is obviously something that's going to get people mad and get him in trouble, and I can't be really like that surprised by it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like what you're talking about with the mental illness thing is kind of like the elephant in the room, is that like really our society and culture creates that kind of state of being, specifically like that manic state, because it's just like constant production of the self, constant overstimulation, constant, you know, mind in production mode and go mode, and you know, you're getting overloaded with everything around you. You're engaging with technologies that the human brain has never encountered anything like it before. You're seeing, you know, being connected with people at such deep levels, as far as like seeing their thoughts and stuff on social medias and whatnot. So many different people taking all of it in all the time, soaking so much stuff in like a sponge. And, you know, you're bound to get your wires crossed sometimes. You're bound to like get into a frenzied state when everything around you is complete static electricity. And so I think that like that's something that gets downplayed. Like I think people.
I will say though, like he's like one of the richest people in the world, and so I don't know how like good of an indicator of our our like conditions he is. Like,
well, I mean, he's like the driver of a lot of conditions. He's like a culture creator. So I mean,
I believe that because he's fucking nuts, and we live in a nuts society.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like I think it's nestled into each other. Like you know, the people who create the culture are fucking crazy, but the culture also makes individuals crazy, involved, including the people who are, you know, entrenched in it. And I think that, you know, we all live in kind of a frenzied state where we have no real moments for actually just taking a moment to be silent and be with one's own thoughts and just kind of like be at a regular state of being. Like, I think that the general condition in our lives now is pretty much a manic state. And that's why I think you get so many people that fluctuate and get like bipolar or whatever, like manic depression, is because you burn out after being in that state for so long. And I think that a lot of people have, not strong of a tolerance to that kind of thing, or as good of a understanding of themselves and how to, handle their emotions and things around them. They're not as well adjusted, and so they swing heavier in both directions. But I think that ultimately those states of being are, if you're living in a life that you have, the right amount of engagement as far as creative or intelligent engagement, and as well as, moments of contemplative rest and silence, and spiritual health, you wouldn't really be swinging back and forth like that. You wouldn't really be entering either of those states because you'd feel to find more of a balance. And I think that we don't actually prioritize any of those things that would lead to that balance. Instead, we actually prioritize and glorify the opposite. And so it leads us into like everyone kind of teetering on the edge, I feel like, at all times. You can see it in people you're talking to at work or on the street or even in friend groups,
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. I don't really even have all that much to say, honestly, because this is something we've like talked about a lot.
Yeah.
But I've got a a nominee for what's the deal with this broad.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I was looking around today for, some broads that might be in the news doing some foolishness.
Okay. All right. Oh, well, we got, if ever there was foolishness, being the prime minister of the United Kingdom for the shortest term in history is is two things. It's absolute, trickery women are getting up to. And second, it's a hell of an L being posted by a woman.
Oh yeah.
I'll be totally honest with you. I don't really know a whole hell of a lot about this broad Liz Truss.
Liz Truss.
But yeah, no, she fucking ousted. I mean, I guess I'm actually looking at the news right now. I guess she's talking about. I guess they're saying Russia might have hacked her phone calls, which is funny. This is a little bit of a rerun here.
Yeah, classics. They're busting them out.
But yeah, I mean, fucking, how long was her? How long
is that? Why she's stepping down?
Okay, all right. Oh, I doubt it. All right. Liz Truss is expected to leave office as the United Kingdom's prime minister in coming days. That tenure, which will likely fall short of 60 days, would give her a claim to being Britain's shortest serving prime minister. That is incredible.
That's incredible. You wouldn't even get health insurance, at most jobs within that time period. You got to be there for 90 days or more. So she really fucked this one up.
Yeah, she really did. I'm absolutely not prepared to God, 6 weeks in fucking office, dude. Holy shit, that's humiliating. What the fuck did this bitch even do? I should have known. I know, I should have known beforehand. I mean, well, all right. I'm closing it out, and I'm just going off of what I already know, which is, dude, the British economy is fucked, bro. The British pound is like absolutely getting its shit tore up, dude. I also think that there's like a really funny irony just with like Liz Truss just like not lasting at all immediately after Queen Elizabeth, who just like lived for like 10 billion years, died.
Yeah, so long.
Yeah, maybe their currency was backed up by the Queen's life. Maybe that's what it was.
Dude, here's this article about Liz Truss, and the first sentence is, after just a month and a half as prime minister, comma, the majority of which was spent clinging on for her political life.
Yeah, so that's funny. So trust the plan.
Oh, Patriots in charge in Britain.
Patriots in charge. Maybe we'll get Boris Johnson back in so that he can, sabotage Ukraine-Russia peace talks.
Holy shit. Dude, speaking of people stepping down or getting ousted or whatever, another thing that was kind of big that I saw, I think,
Are you going to talk about China?
whoa, I don't know anything about China. No.
Oh, there was like a big meeting, and the fucking like old leader of the party, like Xi, like had him like forcibly like escorted out of the room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Really?
it's kind of based. Yeah,
Yeah. Do you know is there any information as to why?
because he's just fucking cleaning house, dude. He's just going
Yeah.
Stalin mode on these bitches. Here, hold on. My dog's being a fucking retard. I'm like turning away from the computer like every half second. But hold on.
All right.
What was this?
We were talking about political oustings, and I was unaware of the Chinese thing. And I was actually going to speak to another kind of upcoming world power, I guess. At least that's kind of how they were built a few years ago. I don't know how things are looking now, but Brazil. Brazil recently just had an election. I think today, maybe yesterday.
Is Bolsonaro out?
Yeah, Bolsonaro is out, and the guy that took his place is the person who was there previous to Bolsonaro.
Yeah, Lula.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't really know what that guy's deal is at all.
He's like Brazilian Bernie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the people were like, we'll have this guy in, and then Bolsonaro happened, and they were like, let's have Bolsonaro instead. And then through media pressure and various trickeries and also maybe public decision, they were just like, all right, you know what, let's go back to this other guy and just kind of see.
Well, Lula, dude, Lula was thrown in prison
by Bolsonaro.
By at least like his faction. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he was thrown in prison. He was exonerated of his crimes, I guess. I don't know.
Oh wow.
I don't know. I'm not gonna act like I know Brazilian politics all that much. I mean, Brazil is just like an insane petri dish for like globalism and all of that. But I don't know. Bolsonaro kind of seems awful.
Yeah,
and
I mean, he seems like not very good.
Yeah, he kind of sucks. I don't know. I don't know enough about Lula because it's like burn me once kind of thing. Yeah. But I mean, I guess people like him. People like him.
Burn me once, eh?
Burn me once. Yeah, burn me. Burn me once. Yeah, mittens. Cue mittens meme. Fucking blow my brains out.
I forgot about that shit, bro. Mittens in the chair, sitting all crazy in the corner, dude.
But ultimately, Liz Truss led the country longer than Bernie Sanders ever will.
Oh my god, think about that.
Yeah.
That's just like Bernie Sanders, bro. What a failure.
honestly, I feel like that's a good note to end on.
Yeah, we can bail out there. That's not bad.
We got anything else to touch on?
I think really it was just the other COVID update, which was really not anything new. Just that the GOP, the Senate committee, they came out and released their report officially on the investigation into the origins of COVID, and they said that the most likely source of the COVID outbreak was from a lab leak. And so
this stuff doesn't speak to me just because it's like
it's nothing.
I just felt like it was obvious already.
Yeah.
And
it's just the game of them confirming the obvious way fucking late again.
Yeah, like I think like the fight for the truth of lab leak theory feels like controlled opposition a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Where, you know what I mean? Where it's just like like we've talked about this before, where it's like it doesn't even matter, and it's like yeah, like it obviously does matter, right? Mm-hmm. But
I mean, here's
it's not the important thing to focus on. The important thing to focus on is that like we were all victims of fucking human rights violations.
Yes,
for like 2 fucking years. Like fuck you. Like the fucking. Go ahead. Sorry.
You could use the investigation in the right context to get into a point where you're saying, you know, these people orchestrated this thing in X, and you can get to a point where you're getting vindication for the fact that we did suffer these human rights violations, that they did shutter the economies of the entire fucking world and lock people in their homes. You can get to that point, but the issue is that these people won't, because the Senate GOP and every other GOP or every other Senate person, GOP, DNC, independent or not, are all fucking sick. And so when they come out with this article and they say, oh, it's a lab leak, they're not going to say, oh, it's a lab leak because it was, orchestrated by, the world powers that be in order to usher in a new kind of world economy setup, etc. No, they're going to say, oh, well, the Chinese,
Right.
let this out. And
Right.
they're going to use it as a way to, stir up
You know,
jingoism.
dude, you know what the real takeaway of COVID is? We should cause a nuclear incident.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. You know what the real takeaway is we should just give the military industrial complex a fucking field day. We should invest more into Western American imperialism. That's really the takeaway from all of this.
Yeah, out of the context of the Russian and Ukrainian conflict, we can now better understand the real lessons to be learned from COVID.
It's fucking embarrassing. I don't. Yeah, it's dumb. And meanwhile, fucking, they're still doing zero COVID in China.
Oh my god, yeah, and it's not working well because the biggest fucking iPhone factory in the planet just got like everyone that works there has COVID now. That was something that I saw an article today about, like everyone in that factory is like got so much COVID and people are like leaving the city and all this stuff.
Yeah,
fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck the COVID. Fuck the Chinese.
and specifically, fuck the Chinese people. Fuck the. Nah.
I guess that's a good way to end it. That's a strong note to end it on. Fuck Bernie.
Fuck any Chinese people listening to this. Fuck you.
Oh my god.
Nah, I'm just kidding. I literally love every Chinese person.
We love you.
On the face of that. I love a third of the human population. No questions asked.
Nice. That's huge, dude. That's good work. That's a big step of doing your work of like, really leading a life of charity. That's 1/3 of the way,
Yeah. Well, it's like sometimes I worry I'm a white supremacist, so I just say I love everyone that isn't white, and I irrationally hate everyone I know that is white.
It's the best way to cover all your bases, bro.
I'm just covering my ass, man.
All right, we'll keep that ass covered until next week, Slav.
All right, see you, bud.
See you, dude.